Hi you guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at Thornton Township's latest board meeting. There were a lot of notable things that happened during this meeting, so we're going to unpack some of those. First, we're going to let Tiffany start it off. She's going to talk about the agenda, but of course she has something very important to say first before the meeting gets started, and she's going to direct this comment to the journalisms. Okay, if you guys don't know what journalisms means, just go ahead and look it up in the Tiffany Henyard Dictionary for Dictators. Okay, you can find it on Amazon. Just kidding, you can't find it on Amazon, it doesn't exist, but you know, it was fun just to say. All right you guys, let's get this started.
Next we have agenda items. But before I start, thank you for coming out. Media, I see that you are here, but it saddens my heart that you are up here at this special meeting and not downstairs where we have big bingo, a ton of seniors in the building. I think you guys should take your cameras downstairs and actually talk to real voters that really tell you the facts of how they benefited from Thornton Township. So I'm advising you to make a U-turn and go downstairs because you come for clickbait and not really what really helps the residents. So I just pray that you downstairs and get that information as well.
So basically, don't sit up here and get the news that you came for, but go downstairs where I have all my senior supporters who I give stuff to once a month. And in fact, you guys, those items and those extravagant gifts that's being given away at these big bingo nights are really kind of questionable now because of the most recent findings from former Mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, during the Board of Trustees meeting over there in Dolton, where it was discovered that there were purchases made at Amazon, there were purchases made at Walgreens and Wayfair, and those purchases were not accounted for, and there still hasn't been an explanation from Tiffany on what those purchases were. Okay, so yeah, no, press, by all means, go ahead, go down to the basement where I can't see you and you can't see me. Yeah, no, it's not happening. So let's go ahead and continue.
Next on the agenda, we got general assistance bills. Is there a motion to pay general assistance bills?
I make a motion to amended motion is to pay the general assistance bills excluding K Designs and Designs for $200. So my motion that we pay everything excluding that until we get it.
All right, is there a second?
I'm sorry, excluding or including?
Excluding.
And what was the name of it?
K Designs and Designs for $3,200.
Second.
All right, any discussion?
You guys, look at Tiffany's face. She is pissed because this is when Trustee Christopher Gonzalez seconds Trustee Carmen Carlisle's decision to take out a certain bill that they didn't want to pay because guess what? They probably didn't get enough information, okay, beforehand. But let's go ahead and continue watching and let's hear why, because as we can see, Tiffany is upset already. What a surprise, right?
Any discussion? All right, we'll have plenty of discussion this evening, so y'all get a ton of clickbait this evening. Basically, I don't understand why you guys are excluding things from the warrant list. I think you should pay everybody. Is there a reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is? Anybody?
What was it for?
It was for shirts. For departments.
$200.
That's what it's for. You do that?
You have an invoice?
They do?
Who's there?
Finance department.
When can we see that?
You can see it whenever you want. So we just be crystal clear up here.
Right now?
You can see it whenever you want.
All right, now?
The clerk has everything. So if you wanted to really go over this, we could have did all this before we got here, and you guys created clickbait once again. Y'all had these bills prior to a whole month ago. Y'all had every bill possible. So if y'all had questions, concerns, issues, y'all could have reached out to the clerk. Y'all could have all.
Okay, you guys, so this is classic narcissistic behavior. Smoke and mirrors. She will never answer the questions directly. Why? Because there's something to hide. That's how I feel. You know, if there wasn't anything to hide, why is there always a battle when they're asking for more information? So I have an analogy for you guys, and it might not be popular for everyone. Everyone's different, whatever. But let's say you're in a relationship and your partner keeps getting texts, okay? Back-to-back texts, sometimes at different times of the night. And you ask, hey, who's texting you? And your partner's like, oh, you know, don't worry about it. It's just work and It's just, you know, my homeboy or, you know, whatever the case may be. It's my brother. But you know for a fact it couldn't be his work because they work such and such time usually, and or just the whole situation doesn't feel like it's adding up, and he doesn't seem to be 100% forthcoming with the information. You know, it just didn't add up, right? So you keep asking them questions, but then they turn around and start getting mad. I feel in a situation like that, the sensible thing and the thing to do to consider your partner's feelings is just to go ahead and show them and get it over with. Unless there's something that person is hiding. Okay. Now, I'm not saying there aren't people out there in relationships who are a bit paranoid and go a little bit too far with, you know, wanting all the information all day, all the time. That's where we hit the obsession, the extreme paranoia mark. Okay. But so there are exceptions. But overall, if you have nothing to hide, you should be willing to give up any information that someone is asking you for that's within reason. And what the trustees are asking for is within reason because it's within their job. Literally, they are supposed to know these things. So let's go ahead and get back to this meeting.
You reached out to the clerk, could reach out to myself, could reach out to Keith Price, not to reach out to anyone. But yet, we get up here and do this song and dance for whatever reason. But I don't think that's fair to anybody that has done work, that you guys come here and just not pay. I'm tired of it. You guys should actually do what's right and pay people for the work that they have to do. So you gonna pay them?
You got a motion and second?
Yeah, you can amend it. So do you want to amend the motion? No, anybody want to amend the motion to pay vendors? So you put it on here, create clickbait. So y'all do y'all research in the crowd news, do y'all research. So we can play the game, put this on here, and not pay people. But GA department will always be taking care of it. Y'all do know, for those that don't understand what GA is, General Assistance, they help people with the light, their gas, their water, their mortgage, their rent, burial assistance. We even help teachers pay their rent. So we got all these things, but yet people get up here and play this game. And then if you ask questions and get the answers, then you should pay the members what's due to them. So this motion is second.
Trustee Gonzalez,
Yes.
Trustee Jones,
Yes.
Trustee Carlisle,
Yes.
Supervisor Henyard.
Yes.
Motion passed.
So as we can see, Tiffany's little guilt trip speech worked, and they went ahead and voted yes to pay the general assistance. The thing about it is, yes, they should absolutely be paying those bills. The problem is, and what they keep saying and what they're trying to get the residents to understand, is that there are things hidden in there. Okay. Allegedly, she's been able to get away with using funds for different things that shouldn't be used for. Allegedly. You guys, I know you're going to get tired of me saying that, but I have to sometimes. So just like over in Dolton, there are things getting spent, but no real explanations. And that's why they keep having to press the issue and the importance of transparency when it comes to them voting on things. All right, let's go ahead and move on to another portion of the meeting because that's when it gets a little spicy. Okay, you guys? This is when Trustee Carmen Carlisle, and I hope I'm saying her name right, you know, she doesn't back down from Tiffany throughout this whole meeting, and she keeps herself calm and collected while doing it. Let's go ahead and watch.
All right, next on the agenda is a motion to pay general fund bills.
Well, we have a motion on the agenda to pay the bills that are listed. And once we receive the invoices for everyone, we would move forward with paying those. But we're paying everything that's listed on this agenda.
Put stuff on the agenda again, and y'all had over a month to talk about it. So how are we only paying certain things when we got important bills that need to get paid no matter what? And y'all know that. Y'all call a special meeting, y'all gotta do some kind of talking.
The thing is, you all reached out to us for a special meeting to pay certain bills. We still hadn't received the invoices we asked for prior to the last meeting. And it was important that we paid insurances and different things like that. We didn't want anybody's insurance to lapse. And we know that the food pantry, you know, needed to be paid, everything in general assistance. So again, we wanted to make sure we were able to get insurances and different things like that paid. We have an upcoming meeting on Tuesday So we're just asking that we can be provided with invoices so we can, again, just make more informed decisions when we're voting on the bill. So that's the reason we're agreeing to pay certain fees, but we would like to see invoices for the other items.
So that's all false that you're saying. You're sitting there telling lies once again.
So we heard Tiffany say that they called the special meeting, but then Trustee Carmen Carlisle actually corrects her and says, no, you guys called the special meeting because you needed some bills paid, basically. And she's saying that, hey, yes, we are agreeing to pay the general funds and all these other really needed services like people's insurance, but we're not just going to pay whatever you want us to pay.
So why aren't you paying the staff? And then we don't never do agenda like this. Y'all know that. So that just show you guys was picking and choosing who you want to pay. Do y'all want to amend the list?
I'll motion pay the bills on the list with it being amended for the staff to be.
All right.
I'd like to second that, just contingent upon Robert providing us with payroll. I did ask to see payroll last meeting, and I did not receive that information. So I'd be willing to make a second to that if we can see the payroll.
Once again, Trustee, you have every opportunity to speak with everybody. You have made several meetings.
So this is where Tiffany goes on to call Carmen a liar once again, instead of addressing the real issue here. Carmen says she didn't get payroll. She reached out to Robert Hunt, and she still hasn't received the payroll information. So what we heard is Trustee Jerry Jones actually agreeing to pay the bills with the amendment of paying the staff. So he went on ahead and agreed to that. But Tiffany wasn't satisfied, of course, because Carmen added that she would be willing to second that as long as she gets the information she needs, which is the information on the payroll, which is what they're voting on. So you would think, those should go hand in hand. But apparently she has not received that information yet. But Tiffany always trying to strong arm some stuff. She's going to press and press until she gets her way. The thing about it, she already got her way. And Trustee Jerry Jones is agreeing to pay the staff. And Carmen is actually agreeing to pay the staff. But Tiffany didn't like the fact that Carmen said, but I still need the information for the payroll. She should just say, okay, you'll get that. But she knows that would probably be a lie, and she would be caught lying on camera. But then again, that's never stopped her before. I think it's just getting the last word factor for her, that little narcissism thing going on. But let's go ahead and continue.
Hold on. But I need you guys to stop doing clickbait. I need you guys to actually do what you elected to do. Guess what? For those who don't know, it's election season. So this is why the show is going on. Because at the end of the day, everything was just fine. Carmen was once on this other side, which is administration. And now all of a sudden, there's a problem with certain things, which is not right. So I just want to clear that up for the record.
So just for the record, she used to be one of my cronies too. So, I just had to call that out in case, she forgot. And I had to let everybody know. Now that she's on the other side, I think she flipped. So you guys, we know what's going on here. And obviously Carmen is a little concerned to have her name attached to Tiffany Henyard. Okay, because there's been nothing but controversy. And there are a couple of key people. Keith Freeman, who used to be the village administrator in Dolton, Deputy Chief Lewis Lacey, who have both been indicted on bankruptcy charges, okay? Yes, both of them, Tiffany's right-hand men, were indicted on bankruptcy charges for committing bankruptcy fraud during their proceedings. So yes, this is the type of company that Tiffany keeps. And of course, Carmen doesn't want to be involved in that anymore, okay? At least she says, all right? And of course, Tiffany is going to throw that in her face. Let's see how that goes.
Go ahead.
Number one, Robert can verify. I did request payroll. If you send me that email, Rob, can you confirm whether or not you sent me payroll, because I didn't receive it when I asked for it last month. I didn't receive it from the finance department. I know that you're not able to always send things without approval from administration. So I know sometimes you've been advised, just because I emailed you about something else and you sent it to Keith Price, the question to my answer, and he was supposed to therefore email it to me, and I never got the response to that question. So again, we can't get information directly from the finance department because he's been directed not to provide us with information directly. And I have an email address.
Oh, you guys, good old Tiffany, back to her old tricks again, blocking the communication lines between the finance people and the trustees. Now, where have we seen this before? Let's go back in time, but we're not going too far back this time. We're actually just going to go back to the beginning of Tiffany's mayoral tenure, where the trustees in Dolton are having a similar conversation with Tiffany during one of the board meetings.
Okay, so Chris told you that I said you couldn't have it? Is that what you're stating now, or what are you stating?
Yes.
I didn't get the question.
Yes.
Okay, that's the question. Okay, Chris, come on.
Okay, so last time we spoke about this, it was my understanding that the board to run these through you, these payroll reports that basically are the earnings from each payroll and the differences between last payroll and current payroll, and the subsequent report that's attached to that of any new changes in payroll. So any new hires, any changes in salaries, any of those types of items. Last we spoke, I was to run those through you.
Okay. So, Chris, that's not true as it relates to run through me, as it relates to payroll reports. I tell you, just like I tell anybody, when anybody come in and ask for certain items, y'all know my phone number, call me and let me know. That's what I've told anybody that works here for me. So what I'm saying to you with a payroll report, why would I need you to give me the payroll report for the staff? Why would I need that? I don't need that. I got the same information that you're giving to the board. Why would I have to give you the okay to say, give them the payroll report or give them the warrant list? All those items, I've always told you to give it to them. Even when you told me that Jason came in and asked for it, I told you to what? Give it to him. So let's get it clear for the record since we're talking about it. So I don't have to lie about anything like that. That's why I'm saying it verbally out of my mouth to the board and you, Chris. Give them whatever they want or need so that no one is going behind my back saying that I said something that I did not say. Because what am I going to do with a payroll report? What would be the reason for me keeping the payroll report from the Board of Trustees?
You know what? That is a good question. And that's what I asked in this video when I made it. So why does it seem to be happening again? Tiffany seems to be the common denominator, right? That's why. And she seems to be pulling the same shenanigans in Thornton Township as she did in Dolton. And we know how Dolton's financial situation is turning out, okay? If you guys don't know, watch a couple of my older videos. Actually, a couple of ones before this one kind of just shed some light on the recent investigation into Dolton done by former Mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot. So we know who the common denominator is in both of these situations, and I've presented some proof here for you guys. But let's just hope the residents of Thornton Township do not vote her in another term. And yes, for everyone who's been following this drama in Dolton thing, I do know she was not voted in by the citizens, but that it was like a last minute situation where the former supervisor, Frank Zuccarelli, had passed away suddenly, so they needed someone in the position. And Trustee Christopher Gonzalez nominated her for whatever reason, and he didn't know the history she had with Dolton and all the turmoil that was going on over there, so on and so forth. Long story short, they made a bad choice, and now they're reaping what they sow. And I just hope that the residents there wake up before she is able to bankrupt Thornton Township the same way she did Dolton, allegedly. Well, we know it wasn't all just her. She had a lot of help, and it takes a village to bankrupt a village, okay? But the trustees over there in Dolton did put up a good fight at every chance they got because they knew what Tiffany was up to and they knew what she was doing. Unfortunately, she was just able to do it for so long that now Dolton has found themselves in a nearly $4 million deficit. But enough about Dolton. Let's get back to this Thornton Township board meeting.
So let me make that crystal clear. At the last meeting, I told you guys that KP, Key Price, is the contact. So if you guys have questions, concerns, or want to sit down with anybody, that is your go-to person. What's any different when it was Key Free? It's no different. So if you guys have questions, please talk to Key Price. And Key Price will answer any question that you have.
Finance director, so he can't answer finance. We have a finance director for that. If I ask finance questions, that should come from the finance director.
Trustee.
Not Key Price.
Okay.
You should forward your questions to Key Price. So if you got a question for him, then he will get the answer. Hold on. I'm telling you how it goes. It go like this anyway. So if you got a question again, for the record, since everybody out like it ain't crystal clear, reach out to Key Price to get your answers.
So Carmen made a very true statement when she said Keith Price is not the financial director. and she can't really ask him questions. Keith Price is actually like a head of the food pantry or something. I don't know, but he's one of Tiffany's cronies. So she does like she does, and she puts her cronies, the people who, the people who just follow behind her like a little puppy, in the positions where they can block information and they can be kind of like her guard dogs to keep people away from her and keep her from being held accountable about the finances. And that's basically what Keith Price is doing right now. He tries to strong arm things and strong arm situations, and he can try to be intimidating to people. It's just basically like her little guard dog.
You got on Sunday.
On Sunday.
When is the meeting? Tuesday?
Okay.
How many days is that before?
What
What does the law say?
What does the law say? What's the difference?
What does the law say?
She sent you email on Saturday, but that's a problem. The one you get one on Sunday, and that's okay. No.
Y'all games y'all playing, y'all full of You full of
It's just basically like her little guard dog who will do probably almost anything for her. But let's get to the nitty gritty of this board meeting, where Carmen really lays it all out and calls Tiffany Henyard out and basically flat out just calls her a liar. Let's watch.
Because at the end of the day, you was on this board when they were talking like this, right? So you should have been putting this same energy in play when you weren't saying a word a year ago, some months ago. And when it goes to the administration's needs, they need everything that they put on their list, their warrant list.
The reason I didn't ask questions, or I didn't, put into question things that was in, because I trusted the administration. I trusted the process. And the moment I didn't trust the process, I started asking questions. I don't trust the process, so I have to ask questions. Before it worked, in that season where I didn't ask anything, that worked. But moving forward, it's not working, so I have to ask questions, and I have to make sure I understand what I'm saying yes to. And that's my job.
It was the same process that you was doing. So to get up there and lie and say, I didn't trust the process when you was the process, stop. That's what I'm saying about your lies, Carmen, stop.
And I would like to say something. And this
So you want to go back and forth? We gonna go back and forth on people all day.
This is for
That's what it is.
It's not about what it is, but you say things. And one thing I've always been is kind to you, and I'm going to always continue to be kind to you because that's who God is in me, right? So let me tell you exactly why I don't trust the process since we talking about it. I didn't ask questions. I worked as your assistant. I saw a lot, heard a lot. You walk around as if you don't do anything, you don't make any decisions. And the first time I ever really questioned supporting this is when you went on this national platform and you said you didn't know anything about a foundation.
So for those of you who don't know, she's talking about the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation. So this foundation was a cancer foundation that Tiffany Henyard started, but then she turned around and went on the Roland Martin show and on another podcast and said that she didn't start it, but what happened was that someone liked her so much, okay? You just can't make it up. She said someone liked her so much, so they wanted to use her name and her likeness. And so that's what they did. They started a foundation in her name. But when people started digging more into the charity and they found that there was a large donation given to the charity from Thornton Township, meaning the tax dollars, she went ahead and tried to distance herself away from her own charity. She says it's not her charity, but once again, we have found video that contradicts what she says. Let's watch.
Something else that I'm doing that I'm really, really big on that's dear to my heart is I'm real big on a cancer foundation. I have created Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation, and what that entails is helping everybody within the 17 municipalities with services. Because I know firsthand how that feels to just not have help when my mom had breast cancer. So I want to make sure that I put that out there to the public and to everybody that it goes to any 17 municipality. You cannot live in Chicago to benefit from this foundation. It's strictly for people that live in the 17 communities.
Well, she sounded pretty clear and confident when she said she started the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation. All I have to say is liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay? So that's like all I have to say, because I'm just astounded sometimes, it's just no words sometimes for certain people. And she's one of those people where you just got to walk away before you say something you really shouldn't be saying. And so you guys, I know a lot of people who have been keeping up with this whole drama already know about this whole cancer charity scandal. but I'm just bringing some other people up to date who might not be aware. And this is in relation to what Carmen is talking about during the meeting. Let's go ahead and continue to listen to Carmen because she's not done with Tiffany Henyard.
But you forget that I was in certain rooms when certain things happened. And the reason I don't support you is because you were not honest about that foundation. I was in the room when it started, and then you came to my house after that unannounced and tried to get me to say somebody else started that foundation that did it. And so again, and I'm saying this for the record. Again, so you're trying to say anything about me not supporting you for somebody else. I don't support you because of you. I don't support you because, again, you act like you don't make decisions. You make every decision, you know, and maybe you didn't execute it, but I was there. I was your assistant for 2 years. So you sit up here week after week. You sit up here month after month and pretending like, and I've been kind to you. I've been patient, and I'm going to continue to be that way, you know, but, you know, for you to get up here and say, I'm not supporting you any other reason because of you, it's wrong, because I don't support you because of you. Not for Keith Freeman, not for anybody else. I don't support you because you're not honest. You're not an honest person.
I'm not gonna take the bait because I can say so much stuff and just tarnish you right now. But I'm not gonna treat you that way. At the end of the day, the truth will be the truth, and the truth will come out.
The truth will be the truth, and the truth. Sounds like someone's a little bit speechless. It sounds like she was not expecting Carmen to come out with that little blow, okay? She was not expecting her to come out with that information that Tiffany came to her house unannounced and tried to persuade her to say something else about the cancer charity that was not true. So as you guys can see, Carmen is not afraid to speak up. And yes, she was with the Tiffany Henyard administration before, you know, and Tiffany's like, oh, I could say so much about you. She probably could, but she would probably incriminate herself while doing it. I mean, that only makes sense. If you have some dirt on someone that was under you, you're probably the source of that dirt. Okay, I'm gonna just say that. Probably, allegedly, all that good stuff. You guys know how it goes. But yeah, that's going to be it for today because we don't want to hear Tiffany's rebuttal. You know, she's just going to deny, blame, shift, smoke and mirrors. We've seen it all before, and I honestly think she's a pathological liar. That's my opinion. But as we can see, the videos speak for themselves. And you know what? There wouldn't be all these videos out here of her contradicting herself if she didn't want to be the center of attention all the time and take credit for every single thing. Well, she took credit for that cancer charity, but then turned around and completely denied it. So you guys, that's just some of the highlights that happened in the most recent Thornton Township meeting. I feel like this video has gotten a little bit too long, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I do want to thank all my new subscribers and all my existing subscribers. I am finally at 10,000. Yes, and rising. So I want to thank all you guys that continually come back to listen to me. Even though some people say I talk too much, it's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with talking. And I hope you're okay with listening. You guys, once again, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave it a like. And if you're new here, subscribe. So
you get him saying people said this, did this, you know what it is. You know exactly who did what. Something else that I'm doing that I'm really big on that's dear to my heart is I'm real big on a cancer foundation. I have created Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation.